Thank you. Vikas, great film. Loved watching it. Very beautifully made, very evocative. Explained it in a mellifluent visual language. Um, I was in Honnavar in the first week of March, as I mentioned earlier, and I took a walk along the Kasarkod beach right in front of Mr. Tandale's village of Tonka 1. So on this 1 kilometer stretch, I counted 31 clutches of eggs, Olive Ridley eggs. Each clutch had around more than 100 eggs, right? So that I mean, a swift calculation showed that there were more than between 3,000 to 4,000 eggs there. And I'm no marine biologist, I'm no expert, I'm just walking along, casually as a tourist. And this is precisely at the point where the proposed port is coming up. So it's evident, it's clear that this is a huge problem, that this is a very a crucial Olive Ridley nesting site. A private port is coming up primarily to export coal and iron ore. Before I commence this discussion, I wanted to make one point. It's a very, very complex issue. What we've seen here is one slice of it, one small aspect, where we're looking only at the Olive Ridley sites, but it's also a geospatial crime because when the nod for the port has been given, the land has been shown as vacant, as belonging to the government, but when you go there, people actually live there. And it's been going on for a very long time. The nod for the port was given in 2010. So this is 14 years now. So I would advise you, for people who want more details and who want to follow up on this issue more comprehensively, a very comprehensive fact-finding report has been published. If for those of you who are interested, you can reach out to Rajni. Rajni, can you just wave your hand? It's a very comprehensive 60-page report that looks at the issue historically, authored by two very senior journalists and one advocate, assisted, of course, by Rajni here and Vidya Dinkar of the Karavali Karnataka Janabhivriddhi Vedike, Coastal Karnataka People's Development Forum. So having said that, it was my duty to do that. It's important that you guys go back and follow up on the issue as well. So just to sort of briefly explain the background of the issue, we get a sense of what is happening there. But what has been happening there from 2010? Sandeep, if you can start us off from that point. It's on it.
So in 2010, the government decided that they want to do a small port, and then they engaged this private company. As of now, it's a shell company, so it's named as Honnavar Port Private Limited, and then it's a kind of subsidiary of a Hyderabad company called as GVPR Engineers. They are also well politically connected, and if you search the founders of GVPR, you'll get to know. And in 2012, they got an environmental clearance, and nowhere in the environmental clearance it talks about any of these sea turtles or, in fact, the environmental clearance has been granted without even giving a survey number. Where is the site? Okay, you're telling you're building a port, but if you see that environmental clearance, there's no survey number there. And how will the local people know? Because, see, Honnavar is a town, right? So there's this area, you have seen the other part. So for Honnavar local people, there's another, the current port office is in a different place, not this place. And the current, even the port land, which was near the bridge, like he said, like what you saw, the bridge and the highway over there, the original port land was there, not the land which is now taken over by the port. So they have used different means to confuse people as to where exactly the port is going to come. And they showed that there's a road existing. And if you go and see, like, you don't have to believe my words, Google Earth is there, go back and see whether that road existed in 2012. You go and see yourself. And then these guys got to know only when in 2017 they started making roads.
What about the farce that happened in 2010 when some sort of public hearing was conducted? Do you want to just mention that as well?
Yeah, even in that public hearing, like no one was aware where exactly the port will come, right? See, there's no survey number given, whether it's coming in the city area where the port already had a land, or whether it's coming near the bridge or here. No one, it's like all the time misguided. So how will people know? If people knew back then that there's a road going to come, we are going to lose our livelihood, they would have aggressively protested back then. So till 2017-18, till they came with machinery to do construction, people were not aware on what is the impact of that or where is that going to come, right? And then they said they did the road, and then they said there's a Kacha road existing. Then they are now saying that we are going to blacktop the road. Even now they are going to go and say that, hey, it's all coming under port limits and we are doing under port limits. So, but CRZ law says, like, you go and see yourself, even in the port limit notification, it says private land and patta lands are excluded. And the government itself has given them Ashraya money. So under the government scheme, they are given back then during Bangarappa's time as a chief minister, he has given land for them. There's a school over there. Everything is there on the paper. How can a government school be there and in the port limit, right? Why are they not saying that nothing is existing in that? And nowhere in that, this thing, they are saying that village exists. And you can see in the videos, there's a village existing, but on the paper, the village doesn't exist, people don't exist. So, and now, even now during the election time, like, and there's an, again, electoral bond issues. It's not relevant to parties. Like, they have used all modes of getting extension to their environmental clearance. They applied for an environmental clearance extension last year. They gave 5 crore to the central government, and 1 more year of extension happened. They gave 5 crore to the state government party in January.
This? Which company is this?
This is Honnavar
Port Private Limited.
And their parent GVPR engineers.
Okay.
In January, they gave an 5 crore to the Congress government in Karnataka, and January end they came, they put them in jail. So they imposed, can you believe till now, like, to do a private this thing, you are imposing a section 144 even when there's a model code of conduct. So they did jallis, they put again, last month again they have come back and put the jallis to do a road expansion over there. And they want to do a 4-lane road, they want to do a railway line over there. And it is also going to, one, fisherman part, it's also going to even impact in terms of tourism. The Eco Beach over there, if you search, it's known as one of the 8 cleanest beaches in India. In all India level, there are only 8 beaches which have that blue flag certification. The railway line is going to kill that Eco Beach. It's going to pass through that. So there are so many complications, and they are using all the government machinery to say, whenever we go, it's all passing the ball. I went, like, say, when they were doing this road, I went to KCZMA office. They are saying it doesn't come under me. So when we go to, say, Chief Wildlife Warden, and he says your court order says MOFCC has, NGT has given an order to MOFCC to do a study on Olive Ridley turtles. They have not come back. We write to MOFCC, no response. When are they going to come? And even it's seasonal. Like, when we put a case last time, High Court, so a company, they gave an agency from Chennai who didn't study. They came in August. The turtles are not something like you go every time and then see. They came in August, and in the report they said that we didn't see turtle, but it's an off season. But they twist their word and then say there are no turtles.
That was very, very ridiculous, yes. But you suffered a setback.
Yeah. And even in the government orders, like, say, GPS coordinates, they have said if you go and search in the...
Can you just repeat that point? Because I think you're going a little fast. Okay. So you're talking about the legal challenges which you have mounted.
Yes.
So what has stayed with me, what I mentioned as ridiculous, is they filed a writ petition in the High Court saying that this is an Olive Ridley nesting site, and the High Court commissions the Coastal Zonal Management Authority. Yeah. It's an institute. Yeah. It's to physically verify whether they are Olive Ridley clutches, nests in that area. And the funny part was, it's well known, everyone knows in the region that the Olive Ridley turtles come for 5 months, between December and April,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, mostly in the summer season. They start like January, then
And-
summer
and
hits and the eggs start
One
hatching.
would imagine that scientists associated with this very prestigious marine scientific body would also know this, but they go in August, take a walk, take a stroll, see that there are no nesting sites, give this report to the High Court, which says, well, you know, you don't have a case, right?
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Go on. Yeah.
So in all channels, like, see, it happens with money and power, influence, whichever way, like, and they are doing it in and out. Every day there is someone to do some work for them, right? So we are just like, it's not my full-time job or anything. Like, we are all like doing a social service here. Even for them, it's a livelihood. He cannot stay and fight every day. He has to go for fishing. So these are the complications which have arisen, and now that it is very hardly hitting their livelihood, they are protesting, but even then the government is not listening as well.
Okay. ರಾಜೇಶ್ ಅವರೇ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲ? ನಮಗೆ ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಬೇಕು, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾನು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಕೂತಿರ್ತೀವಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಅರ್ಧ ಗಂಟೆ.
So how many here understand Kannada? Okay, most of them understand.
Do you need a translation? Because Rajesh can also speak in Hindi. So, you know, he can speak in Hindi. Sandeep will translate it into English if you want. So, Hindi is good. Let him make his initial ಹಿಂದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಲ್ಲ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಬರೀ ಹಿಂದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕಾಣಿಸಲ್ಲ. ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹಿಂದಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಇನ್ನೂ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ ಸಂದೀಪ್ ಅವರು ಅನುವಾದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಂದ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಮೀನುಗಾರರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ, ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಆಡಳಿತದಿಂದ, ಪೊಲೀಸಿಂದ ಏನೇನು ದೌರ್ಜನ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೊರಟ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸರ್ವೆ ಯಾವ ಆಧಾರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ, ಏನಾದರೂ ಕೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ದೌರ್ಜನ್ಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬರಬೇಡ ಆ ಥರ. ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಒಂಥರ ಕ್ರಿಮಿನಲ್ ಥರ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ತನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೇಳಿ. ಸೊ ದ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ ದಟ್ ಐ ಪೋಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿಮ್ ವಾಸ್, tell me, I mean, you've been protesting for many years now, for almost 10 years now. So every time they seek clarity, transparency, any information, they're treated like absolute criminals. And he is a fisherman, he is a proud man, he is a leader in his community. I just wanted to add that his community is the Konkani Kharvi community. So he is the president. And every time he leads the protest, he is cowed down. And in January, he was arrested. So he'll tell us about these experiences.
ನಾವು ಸುಮಾರು 14 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಈ ಒಂದು ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ ಬಂದರು ಏನಿದೆ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇದು 2010ರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಒಂದು ಬಂದರು ಅಂತ ಬಂದಿತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು 10 ಎಕರೆ ಜಾಗ ಮಾತ್ರ, ಇದೊಂದು ದಿನಸಿ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರ, ನಮಗೆ ಇದರಿಂದ ಮೀನುಗಾರಿಕೆ ಲಾಭ ಇದೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಇದಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೇಳಿ ತಿಳಿಸಿದರು ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಅಷ್ಟು ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಾನು ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಬೇರೆ ಲೀಡರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅದರ ನಂತರ ನಾವು ಬಂದಿದ್ದು. ಆವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 10 ಎಕರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಬಂದರು ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಮೀನುಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಏನೋ ಆವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದವರು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸಭೆಯಲ್ಲಿ 2010ರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಸಭೆ ಆಗಿತ್ತು, ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈವನ್ ನಮ್ಮ MLA ಅವರಿದ್ದರು, ಜೆ ಡಿ ನಾಯಕರು, ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ವಿರೋಧ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ 5 ವರ್ಷ ತನಕ ಅವರು ಏನು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. 2016ರಲ್ಲಿ ಏಕಾಏಕಿ ಅವರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು, ಪೊಲೀಸರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಬಂದು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸುಮಾರು 34 ಶೆಡ್ಗಳಿತ್ತು, ಮೀನು ಒಣಸುವಂಥ ಕವನ ಇತ್ತು. ಅವರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಹಚ್ಚಿದ್ರು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಕವನಗಳು ತೆಗಿಬೇಕಂತ. 2016ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಟಿಸ್ ಹಚ್ಚಿ 2017ಕ್ಕೆ DC ಅವರು ಆದೇಶದ ಮೇಲೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಪ್ರಯೋಗದಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀನು ಒಣಸುವಂಥ ಶೆಡ್ಗಳಿತ್ತು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಡೆಮಾಲಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಾಕಿದ್ರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಜನರು ಮಹಿಳೆಯರು ಮತ್ತು ಪುರುಷರು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮೀನು ಒಣಗಿಸಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಅದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರ ಜೀವನನೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದು ಹೋಯ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಈ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಆತಂಕವಾಯಿತು. ಅಂದರೆ ದಿನನಿತ್ಯ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡಿದು ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಆ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅದು ಅವರು ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಟ್ಟರು ನಮ್ಮಿಂದ. ಅದು 94 ಎಕರೆ ಜಾಗ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಕಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಅಂತ ಬಂದರು ಇಲಾಖೆ ಅವರು ಅವ್ರದ್ದೇ ಅಂತ ಜಾಗ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ಜಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜನ ಕಾಲದ ಜಾಗ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಶಾನ್ ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತು ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಆ ಜಾಗ ಮಲ್ಲುಕೂರು ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಅಜ್ಜನ ಜಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜಾಗ ಸಮುದ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾಗ ಅದು ಮಣ್ಣು ಹೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಬಂದು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪುನಃ ಅದು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಆಗಿದೆ ಆ ಜಾಗನ. ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವು ನಿಂತರೆ ಅದೇ ಜಾಗ ನಮ್ಮದೇ ಜಾಗ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೇವೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಆದರೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು ಅದು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇದು ಹೊರದು ಬಂದ ಜಾಗ.
ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಅ rather technical point. Because of the specific nature, this sandspit is located right next to an estuary. So it may sound a little mysterious. How does a land disappear and reappear? But in this specific case, because it's right next to an estuary, over the past few decades, from the 70s perhaps, it has happened.
And also, there were Sharavathi Dam projects which impacted the water flow. When the flow of the water reduces, it also impacts the geography where it joins the sea.
ಇಷ್ಟು ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಸಂಕ್ಷಿಪ್ತವಾಗಿ ಹಿಂದಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಡಿ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಿ.
ये जो है बहुत हम लोग बचपन था. उस टाइम एक मल्लूकुरवा बोल के एक गाँव था, एक विलेज था. उस टाइम हम लोग को कुछ मालूम नहीं था. उस टाइम में हमारा माँ बाप को, ताता की था. उस टाइम वो गांव जाने के बाद, वो समुद्र का नदी का इसमें से जाने के बाद हम लोग को वो गांव छोड़ के इस तरफ आ गया. इस तरफ आने के बाद हम लोग को किधर किधर जा गए. उधर एक तट्टी एक वो छोटा घर बना के उधर रुका. उसके बाद हम लोग को ये बंगारप्पा सरकार का आने के बाद, वो बंगारप्पा मुख्यमंत्री था, वो उसका इसमें हम लोग को एक गुंटा और 4 आना बोलते हैं. 1 गुंटा 4 आना, वो 30-40 साइड दिया था हम लोग को. सब कितना 300 घर दिया था. सभी 300 घर का ये दिया था. अभी तक हमारे पास वो पट्टा ज़मीन था, पूरा रिकॉर्ड है. पट्टा ज़मीन है वो 303 सर्वे नंबर बोल के, उसमें अभी तक हमारे पास दाखिलाती है. वो अभी उन लोग क्या किया, वो 303 था वो सर्वे नंबर था, वो अभी उधर डाला है. मगर वो कासरकोड टिक्का 2 बोल के एक उधर वो CRZ मैप है, उसमें मेंशन नहीं किया. वो विलेज नहीं बोल के, वो उन लोग को अभी क्या वादा कर रहे हैं. किधर भी हम लोग अधिकार से पूछने के लिए गए तो वो तुम्हारा जगह नहीं, वो पोर्ट लिमिट आता है वो बोल के हम लोग को ये करते हैं. वो 2070 का बारे में 2017 ನಂತರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಡೆಮಾಲಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರು ಕಂಪೌಂಡ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡ್ರು. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಅವರು ಏನೇ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅವರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ರೋಡ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಹೈವೇ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು. ಜನ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಅವರು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾತ್ರ ಜಾಗ ತೊಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲರ ತಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿತ್ತು. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಹೈವೇ ಬಂದರೆ ಸುಮಾರು 150 ಮನೆಗಳು ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ, ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕ್ ಬಂದರೆ ಮತ್ತು 150 ಮನೆಗಳು ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ, ಇಡೀ ವಿಲೇಜಿನ ಸರ್ವನಾಶ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ, ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ ನಂತರ ನಾವು 2017ರಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. 2017ರಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಬಂದರೆ, ಒಂದು RTL ಕೂಡ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಿಂದ 3 ತಿಂಗಳು ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಕೊಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಯಾವುದೇ ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಕೂಡ ಪಿಟಿಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ನಮಗೆ ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಸರಿಯಾಗಿ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಾಯಿತು ಕೇಸು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಂತುಬಿಡ್ತು. ಕಡೆಗೆ NGT ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಮಗೆ ರೋಡ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟೇ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿತ್ತು. ಸ್ಟೇ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ ನಂತರ ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ಪುನಃ 1.5 ವರ್ಷ 3 ವರ್ಷ ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ಕೂಡ ಬಂದಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಸ್ಟೇ ಇರೋ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ರೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಮಣ್ಣು ಹಾಕಿ. ರೋಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲಂತೆ, ಅದು ರೋಡ್ ಇರುವುದು ಖಾಲಿ 300 ಮೀಟರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ರೋಡ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಅದು 2 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಮತ್ತು 2.3 ಮೀಟರ್ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇಕೋ ಬೀಚಿಂದ ಟೊಂಕ ತನಕ. ಅವರು ಈ ರೋಡು ಖಾಲಿ 300 ಮೀಟರ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ರೋಡ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಬಾಕಿ ರೋಡು ಇವರೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇವರು ವಾದ ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೋರ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ, ರೋಡ್ ನಾನು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಂದರೆ ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು ಹೇಳೋದು, ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಹೇಳೋದು ಈ ರೋಡಿಗೆ ನಮಗೂ ಯಾವುದೇ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗೆ ರೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಿದವ್ರು ಯಾರು ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕ ಉತ್ತರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಡಳಿತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಪೋರ್ಟ್ನವರು ಆಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ಒಳಗಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದರೂ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿ ಥರ ಉತ್ತರ ಕೊಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ಅರ್ಜಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೂ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮದು ಅರ್ಜಿನೂ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಜಿಲ್ಲಾಧಿಕಾರಿ SP ಅವ್ರು ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ನಾವು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕ. ಯಾಕಂತೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕ ಹೋಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ.
From 2017 onward. ಮತ್ತು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ next.
So since 2017 they have been fighting. So whenever they ask for documents, no one gives RTI responses. You don't get that. There was only 300 meters of Kacha road, and they have all illegally done the road. And if you ask port department, they say no one has done the road. The port company says we have done the road, but someone is doing the road from somewhere. The money is coming, and they are all saying existing road is there, existing road is there. And even in the environmental clearance, there is no specification of the road construction at all. So there is a road. In fact, I mean, what he has not said is a different road which is there inside the village, not on the shoreline. In that, they have said that they will. I will add that point that they will blacktop those village roads as a benefit to the villages, but nowhere it is in this thing. So they again go on confusing on what road it is, and this new road is being constructed, and then they will say this road existed. And every time they protest, like none of the government officials support them or like help them out, or they think it has not gone to the government level. Probably the CM doesn't know, but at least the fisheries minister right now, who comes from that region itself, he knows at least. But they have been also asking to raise this question in the Vidhan Sabha sessions, but that has also not happened.
I think the problem also, it's a, we'll take questions in a bit.
Yeah, there's a railway line as well proposed over there to connect the port to the Konkan railway. It has not yet started, but that is also going to go through the village itself. I answered it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that clarification is valid. That was a translating requirement, I think. No, ನಿಮಗೆ ಭಾಳ ಸತಿ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಜನವರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು 6-7 ದಿನ ಜೈಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಆ ಅನುಭವದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ, ಮತ್ತು ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆ ಮಾಡುವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದು ಹೇಳಿ, ಅದು ಮುಖ್ಯ, ಜನರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು.
ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಇದೇ ವಿಚಾರದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನು ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಪೊಲೀಸರಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸಿದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುವುದು ಬಂದರು ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೊನ್ನವರ್ CPI ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ SP ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯಾವುದಾದ್ರೂ ತೋರಿಸಿದ ದಾಖಲೆಗಳು ತೋರಿಸಿದರೆ ಅದು ನೋಡುವ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೋಡಿದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಹಿಡಿಯುವುದು, ಎಳೆದು ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಗಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಿಸಿಡುವುದು. ಹಾಗೇ ಸುಮಾರು ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಒಂದು 26 ಕೇಸಸ್ ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. 26 ಕೇಸಸ್ಸು. ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಸಲ ನಮಗೆ ಅವರು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಜೈಲಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಟೇಷನ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗೋದು. ಒಂದು ಮನೆ, ಈಗ ಸ್ಕೂಲಿಗೂ ತಗೊಂಡೋಗಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿಡುವುದು, ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಸಂಜೆ ಬಿಡುವುದು, ಅವ್ರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ. ಹಾಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು ಸಾರಿ ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆಯವರು ಕಂಪನಿಯವರು ಇಂದ ಕೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲೇ ಬೇರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮವರು, ನಮ್ಮ ಊರಿನವರು ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರ ಮುಖಾಂತರನೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ಬೇರೆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಈ ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗೆ ಜಗಳ ಮಾಡುವುದು, ಆ ಥರ ಒಂದು ಸಂಘರ್ಷಣೆ ಉದ್ಭವ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಥರ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಜನವರಿ 31ಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರು ಒಂದು ಸರ್ವೆ ನೆಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು, ಸರ್ವೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತೇಳಿ. ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಜಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ ನೋಡಿ. AC ಅವರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು. AC ಅವರು ಬಂದಾಗ ನಾನು ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಜಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟು, ನೋಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಟಿಕ್ಕಟ್ಟು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಾಸರಗೋಡು ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು CRZ ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಜಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. KCZM ಮೀಟಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇದನ್ನು CRZ ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದರು ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜಿಂಗಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಅವರು ಹಾಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಸಲ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ, ನಾವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಯಾರು ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೀನುಗಾರರ ಕೆಲಸ ಯಾವುದೇ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕ. ನಾನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಅರ್ಜಿ ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದೆ, ನನ್ನನ್ನು ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ನನ್ನ ಮಿಸ್ಸಸ್ ಕೂಡ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೀನುಗಾರರು 18 ಜನರನ್ನು ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ, ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಶಾಲೆ ಇತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಮಂಕಿ ಶಾಲೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸುಮಾರು 15 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟರ್ ದೂರ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಬಂಧಿಸಿದರು. ರಾತ್ರಿ ನಮಗೆ ಸಂಜೆ ಒಳಗೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ನಾವು ಪೊಲೀಸಿಗೆ ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಕಲ್ಲು ಹೊಡೆದಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹಾಕಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೇಲೆ ಕೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ 1 ಗಂಟೆ ರಾತ್ರಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕುಮಟ ಎ ಸಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಎದುರಿಗೆ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿ ನಮಗೆ 1 ದಿವಸ ಕಸ್ಟಡಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕಂತೇಳಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಕಾರವಾರ ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋದರು. ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪುನಃ ಕಾರವಾರದಿಂದ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೊನ್ನಾವರ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗೆ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು ತಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ 6 ದಿವಸ ಜೈಲಾಯಿತು, ಬೇಲ್ ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. 6 ದಿವಸ ನಾವು ಜೈಲು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದರು 6 ದಿವಸ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿಯವರು ಸೇರಿ ಒಂದು ಮೀಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡಿದರು. ನಮಗೆ ಯಾರೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಜನಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿಗಾಗಲಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಯಾರೂ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಸಹಕಾರ ನಮಗೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ನಾವು ಈ ಸಲ ಇಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಹಿಷ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಂತ ಒಂದು ಪೇಪರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರು ನಾವು. ಆವಾಗ AC ಅವರು, ಅಡಿಷ್ನಲ್ SP, DC ಮೇಡಮ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಕರೆದು, ನೀವು ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ನೀವು ಈ ಥರ ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರಿಯಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೆ DC ಮೇಡಮ್ಗೆ, ನೋಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್, ನಾನು AC ಮೇಡಮರು ಬಂದಾಗ ನೀವು ಈ ಥರ ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಹಿತಿ ಇಲಿಗಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಜೈಲಿಗೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಟಿಕ್ಕಟ್ಟು ಏನಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದಾಖಲೆ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏರಿಯಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು CRZ ಮ್ಯಾಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ನೇ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕಡೆ ಅದರ ನಂತರ ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಏನು ದಾಖಲೆ ಇದೆ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಬನ್ನಿ DC ಆಫೀಸಿಗೆ, ನಾನು ಸಭೆ ಕರಿತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನು ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಇದೆ ಅದನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ನಾವು DC ಆಫೀಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದರು. ಹೋದಾಗ DC ಅವರು ಒಪ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ನಾವು ಮಾಡಿದ ಸರ್ವೆ ಇಲಿಗಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆ ಅಂತ. ಆದರೆ ಇಲಿಗಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ನೀವು ಹೌದು ಒಪ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು, 6 ದಿವಸ ನಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಜೈಲಿಗಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ನೀವು, ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಏನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಉತ್ತರನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಈ ಥರ ದಬ್ಬಾಳಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲ ಮೀನುಗಾರರ ಮೇಲೆ ದಬ್ಬಾಳಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡುವುದು ಏಕಾಏಕಿಯಾಗಿ ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಈಗ ನೀತಿ ಸಂಹಿತೆ ಜಾರಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ 140 ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಹಾಕಿ 5 ದಿವಸ ರೋಡ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿದರು. 5ನೇ ದಿವಸ ಆದ ನಂತರ 6ನೇ ದಿವಸಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿ, ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ರೋಡ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ಇದೆ ರೋಡ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಯಾವುದೇ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಒಂದು ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲ ಪರ್ಮಿಷನ್ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ರೋಡ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ CPI ಅವರು ಇದ್ದರು, PSI ಕೂಡ ಇದ್ದರು. ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಳಿದರು, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನು ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಇದೆಯಪ್ಪ ತೋರಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ, ಬಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಆಗಲಿ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ನವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಆಗಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಕಡೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಯಾವುದೇ ದಾಖಲಾತಿ ತೊಗೊಂಬಂದು ನೀವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಬಂದ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಇವತ್ತು.
So he says that, say, whenever some officials come or the police comes, they show their documents, but no one looks at their documents. They say it's their private land, but no one listens to them. And most of the time they will just grab them, put into the vehicle and jail them. And many a times they will detain them into another school. Generally there's a school in Monkey where they will detain them, and in the January also they have detained them just for that work. Whenever they want to do work, they will come, they will detain them to do the work, because in their absence is what they carry out the work. And in January also they grabbed him, his wife, and a lot of almost 28 people they jailed, and they took them to the Karwar jail, not the Honnavar one also, because there is more people there, they may protest, probably could be the reasons as well. And then they said this time that they will even not vote for in the Lok Sabha election. So then the DC called the meeting, they went for a meeting, they showed their land and everything. The DC verbally says the survey, whatever they are trying to do there is illegal, but there's no answer beyond that. And in spite of that, they again imposed a section 144, and they again did a road work last month basically. Okay. So what he has not also mentioned is, I will add this point. So under 144, a group of people cannot come together. So that means their group cannot come. But the private company, while they are making a road, it is not one person making road. There is a group which is doing a work. They are allowed. So it is again partial, right? Yeah.
Election boycott.
Yeah.
Election boycott.
Yeah. So they have, as of now, also saying that they are not going to vote in the Lok Sabha election, and they are sticking to their thing. People have, DC has come and met them and all, but nothing has happened on that.
Sandeep, Vikas, I want to ask you a question about the film, but one last question to Sandeep. So this protest has been going on for more than 10 years now. After 2017, it has taken a more active approach. Why isn't there greater visibility? Is it because it's only a small group of villages, a few villages? Are all the fisher folk united? Are they all together? Because I find it quite surprising. It's an important issue. There are wildlife species, endangered wildlife species here, people's livelihoods here, the onslaught of privatization, many factors. So the protest has been unsuccessful because as of now, even now, the port is slated to come up. And there is hardly any awareness of this issue in Bangalore, the capital of Karnataka. A lot of people don't know. Why do you think this is?
Locally, a lot of people, including reporters locally, are divided. Like many reporters have not written about this issue. In fact, including Turtle, if you see the news reports, like say some of the newspapers, people have written from their headquarters or Bangalore. In fact, I should be thankful that we have got more coverage from reporters in Bangalore and outside than the local reporters itself. And even local people sometimes don't know the reality, and you sometimes become an anti-development guy. So you don't know what is impacting. Like, okay, even I was not aware on the actual scenario. I was born and brought up there, right? So unless I go and see the site, okay, there is a port coming that may benefit. There is a perception on that also. How much impact it has, even locally and everything. So it may not have an visibility for the locals as well. And for anyone else also to cover, from Bangalore to Honnavar is like an 8 to 9 hours journey. So very few people put that kind of an effort. You have come and visited, but we have approached 100 other guys. So not everyone comes and visits also or writes a topic. And it's very difficult to even make them understand about the complications of issue. Like you said, like how can a land get submerged? How can it again come back? So these are the things which not many people understand as well. So it is not an easy thing. And even if the turtle, the same thing, like you can probably pass on over there. One of the reasons for this documentary was you can't see every time, right? So we are trying to bring a visuals of what is the actual scenario, and maybe.
Yeah, that's a good moment to move to Vikas. Vikas, so tell me what got you interested in the film, and how difficult was it to shoot the baby hatchlings heading to the sea?
I think a couple of them are missing to actually add on to it, but it's okay. So I think what interested me was, I think their honesty in the approach of, saying, no, this is wrong, as simple as that. When Sandeep reached out to me, he just wanted a video, just a basic video that shows that there's evidence that, hatchlings happen here. I was like, no, this is an important issue. You cannot just make a video and let it go. Let's make something out of it. And that's when I told, let's make a documentary, make it an important event for people to also look at, and not just make it a reportage or an archival footage, and it'll just be there. But if you make it an important event for people to come and watch, a lot of more eyes will turn to it, which unfortunately is how a lot of issues are spoken about at this point of time, right? So I felt that it was an important issue as a filmmaker, as someone who also believes in marine ecology, ecosystem. I just thought that, okay, this is something that I want to also tell as a story from my side. So that's how we came together.
Shooting the hatchling?
Very tough. I'm not an early bird, so it was really hard. But yeah, these are things that you also realize once you finish that, okay, you would do this for something like this, and you would not do it every single day. And in that sense, for me, the respect to docu-filmmakers increased a lot more, because now we also saw what they would go through on a regular day if they have to cover a documentary or make a documentary, right? So it's much more tougher because you have to be covering real events. So which means you have to be ready whenever it's needed. So that's very important.
ರಾಜೇಶ್, ಇದು ಆಮೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೂಡಿದೆ, ನೀವು ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಡು ಯು ಡೂ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಅವೇರ್ ದಟ್ ದೆರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ nesting site there? That's the question that I posed to him.
ನಮಗೆ ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಒಂದು 30 ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜ ಗಿಜ್ಜ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೀಸು ಬಲೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರು ಸಮುದ್ರ ಬದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಆ ಒಂದು ಹೊಂಡ ಥರ ಮಾಡೋ ಹೋಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಆಮೆ. ಅದು ಆಮೆ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಅದರ ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಅದು ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಸುಮಾರು ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಾಗ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕರಿತಿದ್ರು ಸಮುದ್ರ ಬದಿಗೆಲ್ಲ, ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಅದ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಒಂಥರ ಸಾಫ್ಟಾಗಿ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು ಅದು, ಅಂದರೆ ಮೆದುವಾಗಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಿತ್ತು. ನಾವು ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಇದು ಯಾವುದು ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಅಜ್ಜ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಇದು ಆಮೆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಸಾಧಾರಣ ಒಂದು 30 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಆಮೆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಆದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಮೆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮರಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು ಆವಾಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇಲ್ಲಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸುಮಾರು ಈಗ ಒಂದು 8-10 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಈ ಆಮೆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಮರಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು. ಆವಾಗ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಆ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಈ ಫುಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಗುರುತಿದೆ, ಆ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ ಗುರುತು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳಿಗ್ಗೆ ಸುಮಾರು 5 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಮೀನು ಹಿಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ತೇವೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಫುಟ್ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ನೋಡಿ, ಆ ಹೊಂಡ ಗಿಡ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದು ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಈ ಕೆಲವರು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು, ಬೇಲಿ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ನಾವೇ ಕೊಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಮೊದಲೆಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟಿಗೆಲ್ಲ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಈ ಅರಣ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದಾಗ ಅವರಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಈ ಥರ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗ ಅವರೇ ಬಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಆ ಬಲೆಗೆಲ್ಲ ಹಾಕಿ ಗುಟ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಅವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು ಇದು ಸುಮಾರು ಒಂದು 45-50 ದಿವಸದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಮರಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡೇಳಿ. ಆ ಮರಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಅವರು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ರು. ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾವೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಚಿಸಿಗೆ ಇವು ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಬರ್ತಾ ನಮ್ಮದು ಡೈಲಿ ವಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಬಂದಾದ ನಂತರ ನಮಗೆಲ್ಲ ಮರಿ ಬಂದರೆ ತಾನಾಗಿ ಮರಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಅದರೊಳಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ ಮರಿಗಿರಿ ಬಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅರಣ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅವರು ಬಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಮತ್ತು ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಸಹಕಾರದಿಂದ ಮರಿಯನ್ನು ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ರು.
ಮತ್ತು ಬಿಡುವಾಗ ಪೂಜೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರು?
ಹೌದು, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದು ಆಮೆ ಮರಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಿಡ್ತಿದ್ರು ಪ್ರತಿ ವರ್ಷ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಬರುವುದು ಮರಿಗೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಯಾರು ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ. ಈಗ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಿಂದ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಅವರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು ಬಂದದ್ದು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊಟ್ಟೆ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಗೂಡಿಗೆ ಮರಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ, ಈ ಗೂಡಿಗೆ ಮರಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವರು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಹ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಆಗೋದು ಉಂಟು, ಕೇಳ್ತೇವೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇವತ್ತು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾಳೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾಳೆ ಬರ್ತೇವೆ. ನಾಳೆ ಹ್ಯಾಚಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿದಾಗ ಅವರ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಕೈಯಿಂದ ಕೂಡ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಉಂಟು ನಾವು.
Briefly, yeah.
So he says that they have seen the turtle eggs from their very childhood days, from their grandfathers also they have heard. And in those days the conservation efforts were not much. They used to know that there's an egg, it used to hatch on its own and then go back to the sea. Since last 7-8 years they are more extensively conserving. Also they are involving the forest department because they got to know it's a Schedule 1 species and it has its right, like the forest department has to be involved. And the forest department also, once they will track basically what happens is once the shoreline is there, like the water comes, the turtles footsteps, whatever it comes, right? So that goes off. So it's difficult for forest department also to detect after say 5-6 hours. So they keep a track of where it has laid the eggs. They inform the forest department. They will come and they will put a mesh around that and conserve that. And after 40-45 days, it will hatch and it's let out to the sea. Again, they keep a vigil on that. And last 2 years, the forest department also, because of several pressures, they are also deputing 2 watchers over there as well to conserve and keep an eye.
One last question before I throw it open to the audience. So legally, the High Court, you haven't gotten a favorable decision from the National Green Tribunal you haven't gotten a favorable decision. ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟಿಂದ ಮತ್ತು NGT ಇಂದ ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ತೀರ್ಪು ಸಿಗಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಲೀಗಲಿ?
ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಹೈಕೋರ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ NHMನವರು ಹೇಳಿದರು, ಆವಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಮೆನೇ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಆಗ NGTಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ಆಮೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೂವ್ ಆಯಿತು, ಈಗ ಆಮೆ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಅವರು ಇಡೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಮೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಹೊನ್ನಾವರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇಡೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಮೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು ಅವರು. ಆದರೆ ಹೊನ್ನಾವರದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ 4,000 ಮರಿಗಳು ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಕಳೆದ ವರ್ಷ. ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲನೇ ವರ್ಷ 3,000 ಚಿಲ್ಲರೆ ಮರಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಸಾಧಾರಣ 2,000 ಮರಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಈಗಷ್ಟೇ. ಮತ್ತು ಸುಮಾರು ಈಗ ಬಿಡುವುದುಂಟು. ಈಗ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು 1 ತಿಂಗಳ ಸೀಸನ್ ಇದೆ, ಮೇ ಎಂಡ್ ತನಕ. ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅದರ ಮಳೆ ಬಂದರೆ ಅದು ಕೆಲವು ಮೊಟ್ಟೆಗಳ ಹಾಳಾಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರಣ್ಯ ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು ಕೂಡ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಟರ್ಟಲ್ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಬ್ಬರಿಗೆ ಅವರು ನೇಮಕ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಇಡೀ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಆಮೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೈಲಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಈ ಆಮೆ ಬರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಮೀನುಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಖುಷಿ ವಿಚಾರ.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವು ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ ಇವಾಗ, ಏನು ಅದು ನಾನು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು ಅವ್ರದ್ದು.
So I wouldn't agree it's like a complete, and especially NGT order is not a complete failure or anything. So they have said to consider the road matter in the during the renewal of the environmental clearance. Their environmental clearance, while hearing last year in the NGT, was supposed to be expiring in last September. So due to there's a new law which came for environmental clearance. They have actually not supposed to apply for the old ECs. Somehow they have got under the new law 1 more year of extension. So NGT said to consider all the road issues and everything during the fresh environmental clearance. So essentially NGT said, hey, anyway it is ending in September. The actual date was after around that only. So they thought during the environmental fresh clearance the issues would come up. They have also directed MOFCC, central government, to come and do a study and say whether turtle nesting is there or not. They have not come again. So that is a more than court. The biggest challenge for us is, hey, NGT has directed MOFCCs to do and study. They have not come and done. So their fight is going against the complete government machinery, not just court. So even if you go to a court, the court will direct another government institution to go and do a study. Will the court judge come and see the site? No. And the documentary, probably whatever news report coverage has come, it has increased in the last 2 years. And even in the last hearings and all, the stand of the port company has changed from no turtle existed to now there's a mitigation plan where they are saying, I will build a tunnel. You can go and see that report. They have said they will build a tunnel for the turtle movement so that turtle can pass through the tunnel and lay the eggs. That's what exactly they have said. So that stand has slowly changed from turtles don't exist to we will do mitigation. What they have done is they have applied the different environmental laws, which is not specific to turtles. Like for an elephant passage or when you are doing a highway somewhere, they are leaving the passage for the wildlife movement. They have applied the same law for the turtle movement also. So those kind of challenges are there. They will take up different court route as well, but it's going to take
thank you for that, Sandeep. I wasn't aware of these new developments. That's why I posed that question. But good to know that all of you are, Rajesh and you, with your support, you're resolute enough.
Not just us, like a lot of people voluntarily help us, like Rajni was helping here. In fact, when we did a documentary release, Raj Shetty sir, we approached. We didn't pay money to anyone, like even he didn't take money to create this documentary. So when we have approached this thing, so Raj Shetty sir also, he released the trailer, for example, right? So we got almost 300K views for that trailer. And in fact, in some of the government offices I visited also, they have said that we have seen the trailer. In the KCZMA office and the Forest Department office also, it has got that kind of an impact, and people voluntarily have come and helped us. So that is what probably will drive by connecting to more people, and someone will help us out. Of course, legal will go on. We don't know the answer on the legal aspect yet.
That's great to know. So we have some time for questions.
ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಸ್ ವಿಕಾಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ರಿ. ನನ್ನ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ರಾಜೇಶ್ಗೆ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂದೀಪ್, ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಇದು ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೊನ್ನಾವರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಐ ಹೋಪ್ ದ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್, ಅಂದರೆ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಬಾರ್ದು, ಬಟ್ ಆದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾರಾ, ನಿಮಗೇನು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ರೀಲೊಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾ, ಆ ಥರ ಏನಾದರೂ ಹೇಳಿದಾರಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಬೇಕಿತ್ತು. 2 ಕ್ವೆಶನ್.
ಹೊನ್ನಾವರದಲ್ಲಿ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಯಾಕೆ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನಾದ್ರು ರೀಲೊಕೇಶನ್ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು. It is primarily, previously a lot of iron ore used to get exported from the Karnataka port, the Belekeri port, like if you read about that got paused due to the cases, whatever you read about Ballari Reddys and all those things, right? Most of the iron ore was getting into that road, and alli bitre Bangalore alli ide. And it is finally a nexus, right? So people want to build port, not that if you go and see, if you put an RTI inquiry on what is the capacity utilization of Bangalore port today, are they utilizing 100% of the capacity? No. Are they utilizing 100% of the capacity of any other ports? No. So it is just a future plan. A new project will come, someone will make money out of that, is what we are. And in fact, there's another port just a kilometer from this area. There's an island, another place called as Pavinkuru, 1 kilometer from this area. In the visuals you saw a small island and all over there. There's a proposed GSW port over there. And there are another 10 ports which are coming in the same coastline. And I don't know, so the answer for that, why they want so many ports, right? Or maybe the strategy is that, hey, they will propose 10 ports, wherever there is no opposition, somewhere some port will happen. Someone will make some money over there, probably. It could be the strategy as well. We don't know the exact answers, but generally it is treated as a development aspect, whether irrespective of it's needed, irrespective of whether it will get utilized or no.
The blue flag tag, does that also help in the case? Or
See, so far they have not officially shown anything that will harm the blue flag. They have said that we are not going to touch the blue flag. Probably it's all step by step. Even now, it's not that all 1,000 families are directly getting impacted. Right now, it is like 100 families are getting impacted. They will relocate, and the strategy could be that they want to divide people. Some part of them, the moment they relocate with whatever ways, then the strength gets reduced. ರೈಟ್. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮದು ಬೇರೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪರಿಹಾರ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರಾ, ನಿಮ್ದು ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಸದ್ಯ ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ?
ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಸರ್, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದೇ ಕಂಪೋಸರ್ನಿಗೆ ಆಗಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪರಿಹಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಆಸೆ ಪಟ್ಟವರಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಮತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಯಾರೂ ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕ ಹೇಳಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಾವು ಪರಿಹಾರ ತಗೊಂಡು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಮೀನುಗಾರರಿಗೆ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ನದಿ, ನದಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಸಮುದ್ರ, ಇದು ಎರಡೇ ಇರುವುದು ಸರ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೆ. ಇದು ಎರಡು ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಮೀನುಗಾರರ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾವುದೇ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಾರವಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೀನುಗಾರರು ಭಾಳಷ್ಟು ಜನ ಇದ್ದರು. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರನ್ನು ಎತ್ತಂಗಡಿ ಮಾಡಿ ಚಿತ್ತಾಕುಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಜಾಗ ಮತ್ತು ಮನೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರಿಲ್ಲ ಕುಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಿನನಿತ್ಯ ಅವರಿಗೆ ದುಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ 13 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಮೀನು ಹಿಡಿಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ 13 ಕಿಲೋಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಅಪ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೌನ್ ಜರ್ನಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ. 13 ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು, 13 ಮೀಟ್ರ್ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಅಂಗಡಿಗಳು ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ ಆ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ, ಕೊಟ್ಟಂಥ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ. ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಆಗಿದೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಒಬ್ಬರು ರಿಲೇಷನ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ. ಆವಾಗ ಒಂದು ದಿವಸ ನಾನು ದೇವರ ಪೂಜೆಗಂತ ಆ ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗಿದೆ, ಚಿತ್ತಾಗುಳಂತ ಏರಿಯಾಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಭೇಟಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಆಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರುವಂಥ ಮನೆಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬೀಗ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಅದು ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಲೇಕಿತ್ತು. ಕೆಲವರು 3-4 ಮನೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಓಪನ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಆವಾಗ ನಾನು ಕೇಳಿದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮನೆಗೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಬೀಗ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಕಡೆಗೆ ಅದರಂತೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗದೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮನೆಗೆ ಬೀಗ ಹಾಕಿ ಅವರು ಮಂಜಗೋಣಿ, ಗಂಗಾವಳಿ, ಬೆಲಿಕೇರಿ, ಬೆಳಂಬೂರು ಈ ಸಮುದ್ರ ಬದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ತಟ್ಟಿಬಿಡರ ಕಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಮೀನು ಹಿಡಿದು. ಅದೇ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಅಂದರೆ 5,000ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಫಿಶರ್ಮೆನ್ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಈ ಅಷ್ಟು ಜನರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಗುಡ್ಡದ ಮೇಲೆ ಅವರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಜಾಗ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಇಲ್ಲ ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡು ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು. ಆದರೆ ಜೀವನ ಏನು ಮಾಡೋದು ಸರ್? ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ದಿನ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬದುಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಬದುಕಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಜೀವನ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಆಮಿಷಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಒಳಗಾಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಎಷ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಶಕ್ತಿ ಇದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತನಕ ನಾವು ಈ ಊರನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟುಕೊಡಬಾರ್ದು. ನಮ್ಮ ಬದುಕಿಗಾಗಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಹಕ್ಕಿಗಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಹೋರಾಟ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಸರ್.
So, does anyone require a translation? You, sir? Should I do it briefly? No. So, basically what Rajesh is saying that he and his fellow fishermen are unwilling. No one has offered any compensation or made any offer of translocation, but if he provided one example where a community of fishermen were moved to a place called Chitapur, close perhaps, I don't know exactly where that is, and that is 13 kilometers away from the beach, from the sea. So every time they have to fish, they have to come and go, and their entire life and livelihood is linked to the river and the sea. So whatever is offered to them, they will not move. So that is, I've summarized his answer. One question.
My name is Dr. Radhakrishnan, but I've also been in civic activism for many years. And I'll just give you a small story and then I'll tell you why I'm saying this. About 15 years ago on Sarjapur Road in Koramangala, they suddenly said they're going to build a bunch of underpasses and flyovers. The community in Koramangala and HSR and all, we took to the streets and we said, no, this is going to disrupt the neighborhood, but nobody would listen to us and said, tough luck. Then we found that Mantri was building a 125-acre township on the Belandur wetland. And they had been told, you have to first show us access and then we'll give you permission to build. So we then went after Mantri and said, you cannot build on the wetlands. And then everything stopped. So my point is, I think there were two issues here. One is livelihood. The other is the turtles. That's the environment. The livelihood is a perennial problem. I mean, wherever there's development, there's some problem with livelihood. And I think if you just go hammer and tongs on the turtles, because that's unique. And I think if you go on that and get a favorable NGT or a Supreme Court order, then as a collateral, their livelihoods would be saved as well. But if you go on the livelihood thing, I think it's getting a little confused here.
In terms of legally, I mean, I agree to your point. That's why even the documentary, for example, he agrees on that point. It focuses more on the turtle, but while telling a story, we are also including their livelihood. With turtle, what is happening is even last month's complaint, for example, we did a complaint when road is happening and there are 38 nests right now. So again, they are playing the balls like the police gave a report that no turtles are being harmed by this thing. Forest department didn't give a report. Police officers, we complained to the CM's office. So there's a special officer over there. So again, like for that, she got a response that police responded, no turtles are being harmed. And eventually they will say, we are few meters away from that, or they are going to say there will be mitigation measures. CRZ law, although it is very clear, says that it cannot even have a noise pollution or a sound pollution, dust pollution. So, but it is still challenging because most of the time they will end up doing a mitigation measure as a temporary solution and it will eventually impact. So, it is still challenging to just focus on the turtle as well.
I think another point is that the community is struggling to identify lawyers who are familiar with environmental issues. That is also a problem, I think. That's the sense I got when I was reporting.
Yeah.
And isn't there some like pan-India or even a wider international body that looks at turtles and get them to plead with you as a petitioner?
Sir,
because that will again strengthen your case in court.
We are trying. In fact, see, I have had all different experiences. I have had good experiences with people who have tried to help. In fact, I will not name a person, but there's an organization which is very famous for turtle conservation and all those things. And the person has a PhD in turtle conservation. When I approached him, he said, you don't have a lot of turtles coming there. That is a word from one of the NGOs or like a leading organization which talks a lot in the media about turtle conservation. He says you don't have numbers. In Odisha, there are lakhs of turtles. Whether we have 38 turtles, last year it was 50, that also means hatchlings were more than 5,000. It's not a small number. But again, we are reaching out to people. We don't know where it leads. Who helps us at one point of time. Like, say we have, for example, Dr. Yallappa Reddy in the documentary was a chief environmental secretary previously. We reached out, he connected us to a lot of people. So people like him have helped, and they have, voluntarily helped us in the documentary also. But on the other hand, some of the places we have this thing. So there's a body called as IUCN. From our trust, I am trying to apply for a membership over there. IUCN is a body which defines which are the endangered species that they call a red list. So all those attempts we are doing, but most of them are again a time consuming factor. And to be honest, even irrespective of what other attempts we are doing, if these guys are not there on the site today, they would have bulldozed and done and dusted the project already. So the turtles are being saved because of their strong willpower, because of the community, because they are able to stand and protest when the people come, irrespective of whether they go to jail. So I don't have that capability personally to even go to jail like them. Yeah.
Any more questions? There's one there. Okay. This.
Hello, Vikas. Thank you for the film. I have a question. So, in this situation, what is the stance of the forest department, considering the fact that they do involve in conservation because that's primarily their job? With respect to the communities conflicting against this development, what is the forest department's stance?
Sandeep, I think you can.
See, the stands keep changing based on the officers. Last year, in fact, we didn't get a good response from the chief wildlife warden. This year's wildlife warden spoke to us very politely. He gave us a time. He called the DFO over there and called the officers and asked for a report and all. So it depends on sometimes the officers also, not the department as such. We are hoping, we are trying to engage with them. We are hoping they can do and help us at least with the data. Let's say that data can be of help if they give the data and they say turtles are nesting here. That can help us in the court. That is what we are hoping from them. So a lot of people, again, like I said, because there's a lot of lobbying in terms of the port itself, not many officers are willing to help or give the data on paper. That more than the conservation itself, like that these guys are also doing. That way, they don't have a marine department there in the forest department. They don't even, a lot of people in the forest department also don't know about Olive Ridley turtles. So there are challenges like that as well. There could be a marine division as well, which can be set up. So we are trying to ask for all those things, but all of those things take time. But recently, the documents, at least we are getting that the turtles are there. And so if you go for a litigation, that should be of a good help, is what we think.
So, this is exceptionally good work that you people have been doing, which is really very nice. So, Olive Ridley turtles occur across coasts of India. In the western coast itself, Tarkali is a very important Olive Ridley nesting site. I think Dr. Dash, if I recall right, who's from WII, he's been doing a lot of work in the Odisha region on the Olive Ridley turtles. And similarly, on both the coasts, there are people who are doing a big amount of work for this. So have you been reaching out to such people? Because maybe not port, but there are other projects which have come on their sides to stop these kind of activities. But many of them have been able to fend such kind of developmental activities. So I don't know if that works.
Sorry to take the limelight, so I'll only answer probably. See, we have been working, we have been reaching out. In fact, we are partnered with several other organizations as of now from the Honnavar Foundation. We are launching a campaign called as Right to Nest. So as a all India level this thing, so where it's not about just the turtle or a specific turtle will not go and nest in like exact GPS coordinate. It may go around 100 meters here and there or whatever, right? And it is the turtle's right to choose where it wants to come, where it wants to nest. So we are trying to eventually do that policy decision influencing over there. And although we talk about coastline, not all coasts are suitable as well because they need sandy shores, and they generally try to prefer inhabited beaches. So in Goa, for example, they go and nest in Galibaga beach. Wildlife Institute also is doing geotagging to track the movements of where all I have been monitoring those kind of projects as well, where all the adult turtles moves around, trying to learn more about their patterns. We understand very less, like why they come after 16 years, once they are adult to the same beach. So where are they travel? So a lot of data research is happening, and we are looking to collaborate, reaching out to people on those aspects as well. One of that, as of now, is that Right to Next campaign is what we are trying to collaboratively do with, like, there are 5 to 6 NGOs which are there as part of that campaign.
We have time for one last question. Yeah.
Thank you. First of all, this documentary was very enlightening because this is a part of your life which is completely invisible to us, sitting in this city. One thing I wanted to also acknowledge is whether it is 5,000, 3,000 or whatever is the population, anything that is choosing to nest, whether it's in Honnavar or Odisha, it is their basic right to live. My question is, we are sold. How do we help? Social media presence. I mean, I know you're reaching out to the right organizations, but how can we help adding to this movement?
So please, get in touch with us and be in touch probably. Social media, do post on Twitter, tag people or any channels wherever you can help. So we did get good support. In fact, like we did a campaign to write postcards and letters to PMO last year. We sent over 2,000 letters, postcards, this thing, but it didn't have an impact. That's a different story. But we did get a good support from people. Some of the social media influencers came and posted, like if you go and search for Mr. and Mrs. Kamath, they have got around 400k views again. Like if you go and see their video, they will also say, like show the mobile and say, see the GPS location. GPS location says I am in the sea, but I am standing on the land. So people who want to do something like that, come and do a video, share. We are welcome with that. If someone wants to do trekkings, get more people over there, that also is welcome. We have, in fact, created a Google Map listing also this year. We have put boards near the Honnavar, since it has some tourist visitors coming in. We have also put up boards over there. We have put up Google Map listing. But most of the time the challenge comes, like they call also, I want to see the turtle. But unfortunately, not everyone can see turtles at any point of time. Do be in touch. Like I'll give my card or this thing. So we'll see. Whatever way you can help, we need all the help we can get. You are the better person to tell us how you can help.
ರಾಜೇಶ್ ಅವರು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ಸಹಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು? ಸೊ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಉತ್ತರ ಏನು ಇದಕ್ಕೆ? ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ
ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಹೊನ್ನವರಿಗೆ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಗೊತ್ತಾದರೆ ಸಾಕಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಡೀ ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು ಇದು ಈ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಇಡೀ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾದರೆ ಈ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಭಾವನೆ. ಯಾಕೆಂತೇಳಿ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗದಿದ್ದರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು ತನಕ. ಯಾಕೆಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ ಇದು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ನು ತನಕ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನವಸತಿ ಇದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೀನುಗಾರರ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ದಿನನಿತ್ಯದ ಜೀವನ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಈ ವಿಚಾರ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೇನು ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ವಿಚಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರು ಏನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಮನೆಗಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಂದ್ಕೊಂಡು ಅವರಿಗೆ ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ನವರು, ಬಂದರು ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು. ಆದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಾದರೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಪೋರ್ಟ್ ನಿಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ನನಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ ವಿಚಾರ ಇದು ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತರಬೇಕು.
So basically awareness is primary, and it needs to greater attention, it needs to be conveyed to the government. The sense is that it's an empty piece of land, but people are living there. So that's what Rajesh says. That will be the greatest help. And you can visit the place, you know. Honnavar is 8 hours away from Bangalore. And from the town, it's 2.5 kilometers away. The beach, Rajesh is there along with a few other fishermen. So you can connect with him, take his number. He speaks Hindi, so I think we are out of time. Vikas, any last comments? Happy that your film is being viewed and you're playing an important part.
Yeah, I'm just glad to support them because I think what they've been doing in the past few years has been amazing. So that's pretty much it. And
Great,
any
thank-
support would, you know,
Thanks for
So
making
they
the
are
film.
also going to put up online and probably reach more people through online platforms as well. So he has sent it to few of the film festivals as nominations as well. And
Yeah. So in terms of distribution, right? So with the film itself, we are not sure whether the film will go to some place, considering what's been happening in the cinema field right now. So I personally don't know whether it will reach an OTT or not. But yeah, if I would suggest, please, I think, talk to Sandeep on this. If there's any way that you can also share the trailer or any bits and pieces of the film, and you know, talk about it and what your experience was watching the film, it would genuinely help a lot of people to at least know what's the issue. Whether they come and have a look at the full film whenever next time we have the screening, that's different. But understanding, on just knowing, I think, adding to what Rajesh was saying, he was telling if the people of Karnataka know it, then the government knows it. That's what he believes. So if you think that, you know, more people look at the trailer or just about the film, talk about the film, then I think it's, or the issue itself in general. So it's going to help. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
it's listed on IMDb. The least you could do as of now, as a small request, is review on IMDb because you have watched the documentary and you can leave a review on IMDb.
I think we have a trailer, only a trailer right now, but because we've sent it to a few film festivals, we're not allowed to put out the whole film. Yeah, but the trailer is there. It's the same name, The Ocean Connection, under the page FOB Docs. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Vikas, for screening the film, for bringing the film to BIC. Thank you, Sandeep, for so intelligently explaining this very complex theme. Rajesh, thank you so much. ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದು ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಹೊನ್ನಾವರಿಂದ ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನೀವು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯಿತು ವಿಷಯ ಏನು, ತಿಳುವಳಿಕೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಯಿತು. ತುಂಬ ಧನ್ಯವಾದ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಆಲ್
Thank you for leading the way, and thank you BIC for giving the space as well.